Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I wanted to preview the second preseason game for the New York Jets against the Carolina Panthers in Carolina this weekend, actually tomorrow. And of course, right, we're not going to be talking about like schemes or how to attack or anything like that because of course it's just a preseason game. And whenever it is just a preseason game, the first thing that needs to be taken into account for literally all 32 teams' health. Right. We cannot be entering this preseason game healthy and then exiting with multiple injuries. And of course, there's not really a ton that you can do to control that. When these guys are on the field, you can control how long they're out there playing for, but that's a given, right? Of course, we got to try to get through these games, these joint practices as healthy as possible. But as far as, the actual matchup, I think what I really want to see from the Jets offense is fluidity on offense. It really seemed as though in the joint practice, and granted, I wasn't there, analyzing every single snap on both sides, but from the reports, again, from both sides here, the Jets and the Panthers, it really felt as though the Panthers won the day. The offense was clunky. Tyrod threw a pick. Andrew Peasley threw a pick. Aaron Rodgers, I believe, had 2 interceptions. And Carolina's team is young, right? They're brand new to everything, right? Dave Canales is a brand new head coach. The jury's still out on Bryce Young. There's still a lot of questions surrounding this football team, but at the same time, they're hungry. And I think that's what we saw in that joint practice session. We had like late round picks making plays for the Carolina Panthers against our star players. Bryce Young looked tremendous, right? Completing passes, had a deep shot touchdown, had multiple deep shots outside of that Terrace Marshall TD. For me, I really want to see the Jets build upon the Washington Commanders preseason game, right? That week 1 matchup, and look like a formidable football team. I think it's pretty safe to say that everybody, lots of Jets fans out there, they have playoff expectations. If the Jets finish with 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins, that's going to be a major, major disappointment. And if we look how we looked against the Panthers in that joint practice, that from the sound of it did not, it didn't sound like a playoff team. But as far as an individual standpoint is concerned, hopefully we can see a lot of the younger guys go out and build upon that week 1 performance, right? We're talking Olu Fashanu, we're talking Isaiah Davis, Braylon Allen, Jalen Key, right? All the young guys that stepped up, Eric Watts, Leonard Taylor. Tanzel Smart is another player. I know he's not a rookie or a second-year guy, but is somebody that had a fantastic week 1 against Washington with 7 tackles, led the team, and he's always kind of been that roster bubble guy. So, against a different scheme and different players away, right? We're not in MetLife Stadium this go-round. Can we see these individual players stack good performance on top of a good performance? One thing that I'm actually really excited to see is A, who is the starting 5 offensive linemen rolling out on Saturday? And then B, how do they perform, right? I think, clearly, it doesn't, you don't need to be a Jets fan to identify that the New York Jets had major issues for years on end with their offensive line. You kind of felt like when the interior was playing well and they got that figured out, the tackles were just putting out horrible production, and then vice versa, right? When the team had some solid tackle options, it was the inside that would always give the offense fits. And one thing that's been a major talking point is that Tyron Smith is older. He's up there in age. He's taking a bunch of veteran days off in practice. He is injury prone. Morgan Moses, same thing, veteran player coming off a torn pec. How important is the preseason? But then on the other hand, it's how important is team chemistry, right? Offensive line continuity, something that's going to be imperative because the New York Jets, frankly, have to start fast, in my opinion. So do we see the actual starting 5 roll out there? I think if I was Robert Saleh, the only player that's not going to play is Tyron Smith on the offensive line. I would be fine with letting Morgan Moses get a series at right tackle, and then of course AVT at right guard, Tippmann at center. And Tippmann was actually the only starter who started or played in last week's game against the Commanders. But so, yeah, again, I want to see Tippmann out there, continue to get reps. There was a problem with high snaps early on in camp, but we haven't really got many updates about it recently. And then, of course, John Simpson at left guard. And then I would probably stick Olu at left tackle. But, of course, that's probably not what the Jets are going to do because Olu has been practicing at right tackle all week. So how is this lineup going to look? I mean, could we actually see Olu start the game at right tackle? It's going to be interesting. And then, if you flip it and look at the pass rush, right? Again, Bryce Young really did a great job of putting the ball in play. He did well in 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s team drills here. Can we get in the backfield a little bit? Bryce Young, I know he had just last season was tough, right? Last season was rough, but with a new energetic, smart offensive mind who has had success with multiple shorter quarterbacks and Dave Canales running the show, could we see this Panthers offense perk up a little bit? I would say the answer is probably yes. I'm actually really excited to see what this Carolina Panthers team does in 2024. I think a lot of people have written them off. I don't want to go as far as to say, yeah, they're going to win the division. Or they're going to be a guaranteed wildcard team, but I do think they're going to be better than what the projection is as of right now. So it should be fun, right? Can we attack? Can we get in the backfield and mess with Bryce Young? Can we get, sacks would be great, but can we get him off his platform? Can we make him feel uncomfortable? Obviously, we're not going to be sending exotic blitzes at him. That's not really something that the Jets defense does factor in its preseason as well. So chances are it's literally just going to be our front four trying to get after the backfield. And if we can wreck the Panthers, offense with just our front four, chances are a lot of it's, a lot of the players are going to be backups as well, but very talented backups, right? We're, again, Watts, McGregor, who else? Tack McKinley, Lecky Fotu. If these guys can go out there and affect the game, especially if the Panthers are rolling out their starting offensive line, it could be such a great sign because we saw how good they were, against Washington. And, this was one of the units that performed really well in that joint practice. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I guess I'll end off on this. The whole QB3 battle is super, super interesting between Andrew Peasley and Adrian Martinez. Can we see another great performance from both of those guys? This is something that a lot of Jets fans have not experienced in, years. It's been so long, right? To where we have our starter, we have our backup, and then we're getting good performances from the bottom of the quarterback depth chart. And we've had Strevler and whatnot, but that never really felt as though the Jets actually had a plan for him or were going to utilize him. But with Martinez and Peasley, two UDFAs coming off great days, and in the case of Martinez, former highly touted high school prospect, UFL MVP just a season ago, it does fire you up a little bit. Like, hey, you know what? These guys can function in the pocket. They are picking a packet system. Yes, they are rookies, undrafted for that matter, and they're not looking like a deer in headlights. On the road here, can we see more solid performances here? I think that'd be such an awesome treat for Jets fans here. So anyway, thanks so much, and as always, go Jets.